Hey guys, welcome back. I have another video today. We're going to be doing my TBR list or my to be read list. Normally people do this in January, but since I wasn't making videos then, I thought I'd do it now. So I have like 32 books to get through, so let's just get straight on into the video. Right, so I've got my list. It's long. And I have my phone to tell you the synopsis of them, I guess. Some are more priority than others for me to read. I probably won't get through most of this list because I start grade 11 in the fall, but I'm going to try to get through at least the top priority ones. But some of these are series, and if I like the first book, then I'm going to want to read the next ones, so we'll push back the other low priority ones. So let's start. First is I Am Number 4 by Pittacus Lore. My friend told me about this book and this series, and she loves it. It is her favorite, and we're best friends, and she has similar taste in books as I do, so I thought I'd try it. So basically, the enemy, these magical super people, whatever, they can only be killed if you kill them off in the order of their number. And so it starts with number 4. He's like the main character, and they already killed number 1, 2, and 3. So he's the one they want to kill next. So that's like the whole thing, and there's like a bunch of other books. Next on the list is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I think most people probably know, but I'll read the back. 16-year-old Triss is forced to make a terrible choice. In a divided society where everyone must conform, Triss does not fit. So she ventures out alone, determined to discover where she truly belongs. Shocked by her brutal new life, Triss can trust no one. And yet she is drawn to a boy who seems to both threaten and protect her. The hardest choice lies ahead. My friend read it, same friend as the other one, and she liked it. So I thought I'd give it a try. It has very mixed opinions. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people think it's a ripoff of the Hunger Games, which I used to think, but then I was like, I'll give it a shot. Next on my list, I'm going to get so much, I don't know. People are going to be very upset. Anyway, this is the next item on my list. I have included them all. The next Harry Potter books. I am halfway through the third one. These are kind of lower priority for me because I don't enjoy her writing style very much. And I'm pretty sure everyone knows the plot of Harry Potter, but The Prisoner of Azkaban, the one I am on, is like with the night bus and Sirius Black and all of that. So, yeah, he's my favorite character, so I'm excited to get to that. The book I'm most excited to get to is The Order of the Phoenix, because that's my favorite movie. I know, I watched the movies before the books. I'm a monster. Yeah. Anyway, next on my list is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I don't have this book. I ordered this book. It is coming in May. I will do a haul because I ordered a lot because I was bored. I have to be careful now. I'm kind of broke. So the synopsis on Goodreads is Scarlet Dragna has never left the tiny island where she and her sister Tella live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlet's father has arranged a marriage for her, and Scarlet thinks her dreams of seeing Caraval, the faraway once-a-year performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. But this year Scarlet's long-dreamt of invitation finally arrives. With the help of a mysterious sailor, Tella whisks Scarlet away to the show. Only, as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped by Caraval's mastermind organizer, Legend. It turns out that this season's Caraval revolves around Tella, and whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlet has been told that everything that happens during Caraval is only an elaborate performance. Nevertheless, she becomes enmeshed in a game of love, heartbreak, and magic. So there is child abuse in it. Their father abuses them. I don't know if it's written out, but that's part of the thing. And so she tries to save her sister, and I ordered it. Sounds cool. gonna read it. Next is Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. This is like a satire of the chosen one trope. Basically, this guy, Simon, is like, he's the worst chosen one in the world. He just doesn't do anything right, and it's really funny. And he goes to like a wizarding school, so it's kind of like Harry Potter. And there's this big evil he has to defeat, but he's kind of sucking at being the chosen one. So it's like really funny, and I'm pretty sure he's gay and has a boyfriend at some point. So I'm excited for that. Anyway. Next on my list is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. Also ordered this one. Very interested in reading it. It's historical fiction, and it's these two guys trying to navigate being bisexual and growing up, I guess, in the 19-somethings, I believe. I could be wrong. Probably am wrong. I just don't feel like searching it right now. But yeah, there's a guy named Percy in it. And yeah. Next is The Girl Who Dared to Think by Bella Forrest. I'm excited for this one. I ordered it, and it's like you have a number on your wrist, and that's like your loyalty to the tower, and the more like disloyal thoughts you have or whatever, the lower your number is, and the lowest acceptable score is a 4, and that's what the main character has, and she just can't stop her bad thoughts, and people with lower scores, they like disappear or never heard from again. So it's interesting. It's like a 7-book series or 8 books, I think. So if I like it, I'll definitely be getting those ASAP. Next is Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare. I've heard a lot about it. Some people say it's better than the Shadowhunters and everything. So I'm excited to read it. I'll pull up the thing. It's the first book of the Infernal Devices, and it's in like the Shadowhunter world. And it's set in 1878, and Tessa is searching for her missing brother, and she meets Shadowhunters and that kind of thing. And so it's like the prequel of the Shadowhunters, I guess. So I'm excited to read that. Next is Enchantée by Gita Trellis. It is historical fiction set in France during the French Revolution, and this girl, she has magic, which is what like the rich people want. That's what they like crave most, and so she disguises herself as like a countess or something and joins the court, and then she has to choose a bunch of stuff when the revolution happens and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to read that. I like historical fiction. I don't like the French Revolution. I don't like saying that because then people are like, oh, it's so much death. I'm like, yeah, I know, but like, it's cool to learn about. I don't like what happened, but it's one of the more interesting history subjects. So I'm clarifying that now because it will be said later on in other videos. I'll be like, oh, this horrific event is so cool. And I'm not meaning it's cool that people died. I'm meaning it's interesting to learn about and super depressive. Anyway, next is Shatter Me by Tahira Mafi. This has also very mixed reviews. Some people hate it, some people love it. But I thought it would be cool to read. I ordered it. It's fantasy kind of thing. This girl, she thinks her gift is like a curse, and she's a monster, and she doesn't want to hurt anyone. And it's like in a dystopia future kind of thing. I don't want to read the entire synopsis for everything because then we're gonna be here forever. So yeah. Next is The Fifth Wave by Ricky Yancey, and it's basically like the first wave, this happened, second wave, and you don't know what the waves are, you just know it's a wave, and there were this many, now the fifth wave is coming, what's gonna happen? And so it's also a dystopia kind of thing, and it was in my save for later on Amazon for so long, and I finally ordered it, so it's coming, and it will be part of my haul in May. Next is Rose Petals by Eliza. I'm so sorry. Yeah, she is an Instagrammer. She has like a WIP account for her work in progress, which is what it means. And this is her poetry book. I don't normally like poetry, but I really like her account and I thought I'd try it out. So I got the Kindle edition on my iPad and I read a couple poems and they're really good and I really like them. So I'll leave her stuff down below and I'll leave the links for all the books down below too. Anyway, flipping over. We just have this much to go, guys, okay? Next is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. Okay, so this book has like, the main character has anxiety. I'm pretty sure this is the one. And she meets like someone who's like a fan of something she did. Don't know, I don't feel like reading the whole description. But yeah, that is... I heard a lot about it and I thought it was really interesting because I haven't really read a book where the main character has anxiety. So I'm excited to read that one. I have not ordered it yet though. Next is The Diviners by Libba Bray. Okay, so this is a historical fiction and it is a series and this girl gets shipped off from her hometown to New York in 1926 and she discovers all these supernatural things. So this one's kind of lower on my list, but I thought if I had time, I would get to it kind of thing. Next is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. I think this cover is just the prettiest thing. And it's like the dream chooses the dreamer, not the other way around. This person, I think it's a guy, he's a war orphan, and he was afraid that his dream would choose poorly or something. And then he got an opportunity, and then it kind of goes from there. Like I said, I don't want to read the whole thing, because I don't want to be here for an hour. And I'm sure neither do you. So, anyway, next is An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. I'm going to butcher these names, and I am so sorry. I don't do it on purpose. I just suck at pronouncing things. This is about these two people. One's a slave, one's a soldier, and stuff happens, and it's in Rome, and their fates get intertwined and that kind of thing. This one's also kind of lower down, probably. Next is Daughter of Smoke and Bone. Okay, so this one's lower down on my list. It's about this girl and she discovers something. I don't know. I just thought it sounded interesting when this other person described it to me, and I'm really too lazy to read the whole description. I'm sorry. But it is, from what I'm skimming, it does sound kind of fantasy fiction because it's something about speaking many languages, mysterious, star-crossed love. I don't know. But it sounds interesting, so I might get to that one. Next is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. That's a fun name. This one has very, very, very mixed things because I've heard some people love it and some people absolutely hate it. But this is kind of like a sci-fi future, otherworld kind of thing. There's like spies and that kind of thing. And I thought it was interesting. It's a duology. So not as many books, but it still sounded interesting, so I might get to that one. Next is All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr. Something like that. Okay, it's historical fiction during World War II. It's this blind French girl and a German boy, and they cross paths and stuff happens. So it sounds interesting. I'm pretty sure it's a standalone. Yep. The cover is also really pretty. Anyway, yeah, so might get to that one. Like I said, I probably won't get to most of these because if I like the first books of the series I ordered now, I'll order the rest of those, and they're pretty big series, most of them, I think. So, yeah. Next is Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is probably at the bottom of my list because I really haven't heard that much about it, except pretty sure Emma Watson is in the movie, and that's all I know. And Logan Lerman. Yeah. Something about a diary. I think it's written as someone's diary. And it's like a coming of age thing. So I'll see if I get to that one. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. We'll see. Next is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. I really want to read this one. It is really high on my list, but I wanted to save it until I got a gift that is money, or my mom decides to buy me books because it is more pricey than the other ones. So yeah, it's like written in 3 parts. It's like 3 generations. It's her mom, and her grandma, I think. And it's like telling their story of love and how they experienced it and that. So I thought it was really cool, and I really want to read it. Next is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. The only John Green book I've read is The Fault in Our Stars. I have not read any others. I really like The Fault in Our Stars. Definitely cried. This one is about a fugitive billionaire, and it is a lifelong friendship. Yeah, it's this girl. She has anxiety and OCD, I think, and it's like her navigating through her life kind of thing. So a little excited to read it. Intrigued, definitely. Don't know if it's very high up, probably a bit lower down, but we'll try to get to it if I can. Next is Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. So it is about witches. One of them actually has the name of a YouTuber. It's probably just a coincidence. But they clashed with some people and stuff happened, and now they have to fix it probably. That's what I'm getting from my brief skim. So yeah, that's also kind of like down there. If I get to it, I get to it kind of thing. Yeah, okay. Paper 1. Done. Okay. Only this part left. Almost there, I promise. Next is Circe by Madeline Miller. I love Greek mythology. And if you didn't know, Circe is part of Greek mythology. So it's Circe is the daughter of Helios, the first god of the sun before Apollo. Yeah. So it's kind of about her, and more about Zeus being an absolute prick. So I'm kind of interested to read that. It is definitely kind of middle area, not as low as others that I've said are low. But it's very interesting, and I want to read the one that's after it too, or just by the same author with the same theme. Don't know what it is now. I think it's something about Troy. Anyway, next is Passenger. This is about a girl who can time travel, but she didn't know it, and her parents kept it a secret, I think. And then she has to time travel to save something. So it sounds interesting, but it's definitely like middle to low range of wanting to read this year, because it's already April and I get busy and I don't read. The last time I read was when I finished the latest book of Trials of Apollo, which was like over a week ago. I know, I'm bad. I did read the poems. Anyway, yeah. Then it's Aristotle and Dante Discover the Secrets of the Universe. The person who I found the recommendation for this from said that if you're a Hufflepuff, you should read this book, and I'm a Hufflepuff, so I want to read this book. At first, like, because she's mentioned it about like a bajillion times, and I was just like, doesn't sound like my cup of tea. But then, after hearing her talk about it again and again and again and again, I was like, I'll add it to my list. We'll see. Now I'm kind of intrigued. It's like Aristotle is an angry teen with a brother in prison. Dante is a know-it-all who has an unusual way of looking at the world. And they meet and become friends, and then they discover things and become friends, and they make fun of them being named after philosophers. So that's definitely middle, not low, just middle-ish. Yeah. Next is The Kingdom by Jess Rothenberg. This has like robots. It's like totally sci-fi. It's like happily ever after isn't just a promise, it's a rule, and it's like an immersive fantasy theme park, and it's like super fairy tale dragons kind of thing, like in the theme park. That's like the rides. So I'm really excited to read this one. I really want to read this. Definitely gonna be in my next book order if I didn't order this one. It's definitely gonna be in my next book order. Next is Sorcery of Thorns by Margaret Rogerson, and it's like all sorcerers are evil. Elizabeth has known that as long as she has known anything. She was raised in a library, and then stuff happens, and then stuff she wouldn't expect to be true is true, and that kind of thing. Probably that sorcerers aren't bad, but that's just a guess. Yeah, it says she meets a sorcerer named Nathaniel, and they become friends, and then she starts to question things. So that one's definitely like medium low. I really want to read The Kingdom. That is definitely higher than the Sorcery of Thorns. Anyway. Okay, next is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and it is historical fiction set in France, 1939, and the main character's husband is leaving for the front lines of the war, and she's saying goodbye, and then stuff probably happens to her. There's a very long description. She falls in love with... I'm just skimming it, but it sounds like she falls in love with a Nazi. Yeah. No, she falls in love with a French dude. Okay. That makes more sense. Yeah, so that one's kind of like a meh, I'll get to it if I get to it kind of thing. But it's historical fiction, and I'm trying to read more of historical fiction because I only have a couple books of historical fiction. So, we'll see. 3 left. Okay, we're almost done. This one is probably like absolute top priority. Is the last book of the Trials of Apollo series, The Tower of Nero by Rick Riordan. And it's like he wants to regain being a god, right? So it's like his last part of his quest to defeat the triumvirate and that kind of thing. And it only comes out September 29th, and so I really want to get it as soon as it comes out. That is definitely top priority for me. Next is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. It's like a prequel to The Hunger Games, and it's like President Snow, like when he was young, and he's preparing to be a mentor and that kind of thing, and it's his story. It's definitely like medium high because it sounds really interesting, but it's not as intriguing as other ones. So we'll see about that one. I probably will end up reading it. And lastly, we have one that I haven't ordered, but I'm probably the most excited for, other than like Trials of Apollo and that kind of thing, is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. And the main character is a siren, and she is forced to kill another siren, and her queen slash mother transforms her into a human, and they hate humans apparently. And now she's like hunting sirens, and yeah, it sounds really cool, really interesting. I like sirens. I have a book called The Siren by Caraval that it was hard to get into, but I really liked it. So yeah, that is all 32 of books that I have not read, but I want to read. I probably won't get through all of them this year. There are other books that I have read that I want to read again, like Little Women. I haven't read the full version because I didn't have it before, and now I have it, and I probably will read that. And I really, really feel like rereading all of the Percy Jackson things from The Lightning Thief all the way to the last book of Trials of Ballad. So we'll see if that happens. I have said things that have not happened before. So, okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and maybe got some ideas for your TBR list. And I will see you probably next week. And I will leave all my links down below, books, my Instagram, all that jazz. So yeah, see you next week. Bye.